Hey, what's up, the two people that are watching? I am working on Yeti boots. That's right. Yeti has the ability to fly, and I'm working on that ability right now. I'm already a little bit of the way through. I have to mask some things out, but so yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. I'm using a plugin called Saber, which you can find for free on videocopilot.com. Thank you, Andrew Kramer. Nice guy, helping us filmmakers with only small amounts of budgets, to make our effects happen. So the idea here is Yeti is about to stop something bad from happening. Let me see the actual scene here. Yeah. Sorry, let me get it set up. Here we go. Well, anyways, Yeti has the ability to turn his boots on at will, and he's about to let somebody have it with his abilities. So the first shot is he comes into the scene, looks down at his boots, does a hop. When he does his hop, his boots will light up, and then he does a dash and blasts off. So that's what I'm working on. One second. Gotta post one thing real quick. Okay. So I don't know. For those of you who are like into the process of making effects, you may enjoy this. For those of you who are not a fan of things happening very slowly, this is a very slow process. But it's a fun process, especially when the whole thing comes together. That being said, I have been tracking Yeti's boots. Having that issue here. I think I got too much stuff going on. So we have running. Let's see, where did I leave off? Pull this in half here. I'm going to close this out. It's buggy. Buggy, buggy, buggy. Anyways. Stand by for the lagging computer. It's not very exciting. No. close, close. I'll be right back. You guys are just in time to watch my computer crash, but I think we're back on track here. There we go. So this is what I have now. Yeti's boots have lit up. I have to go through and clean up the masks that I made, which is a little bit of a process. So if you look here, let me close out. Yeti's running and his boots, this boot right here is going to cross in front of the other leg, so I have to get rid of, I have to stop that from happening. I have to stop that from happening there. There's a big tree right here. So next on my list of things to do is I have to go through and mask that out. So what I'm going to do is do that. So basically what I'm doing is going to put his leg here over the mask, and the way I get to do that is to go in frame by frame and basically cut it out this way, or looks like that. I basically just cut out his leg like you would do in Photoshop or something. Or the other thing that I would do, which I think is probably much simpler, is to animate the boot or the light to make it disappear right when it crosses in front of his leg. And that's a pretty easy thing to do. I'm going to open up transform. And pretty much drop that so it's gone. Bring it back. But the only thing is we lose the glow, which doesn't make it as cool. So I think the best route to do this is to get rid of it by using his leg, which is going to be a blast if you've done this before. So first, I'm going to move that leg in front. So let's pull that up. There's a number of ways that we can do this. There's something that the brilliant Kent Leon Welling told me about, which is called the track mat. And if you're lucky, it might track that leg. Nope, it's not going to track that leg. So we'll undo that. So I'm going to have to go and animate what I just did there. So imagine if you were in Photoshop, you're cutting out something in just one photo. What I'm about to do is do it times every frame in the film, if that makes sense. So basically, I am rotoscoping out the boot. I'm not really sure if that's it. There's so much motion blur happening here. So he moves in front. boot. Move that down. And yeah, I'm kind of not too worried about my mask being super perfect because it's happening so fast. So even though it blends in, his foot almost blurs out completely here. So if I bring it back, that's what it looks like. So I can just stop it. I almost have to go back even more because of the glow. To sell that glow, guys. Bottle it up and sell it. So yeah, so we have I don't know if I lost you guys. Who knows what you guys missed? Apologize for that, but this is where I'm at. Stand by. There we go. So Yeti is moving in front of his boot now. I have to clean it up, but oh, and then just the process continues, frame by frame. Moving each piece. And often wonder there's a better way, but besides using the the tracker doesn't work because there's too much motion blur. So if anybody has a better way, I'm all ears. But I like that the glow can still be seen as he's running, which is really cool. Again, not entirely worried about it being too perfect. Just want to make sure that it's rocking and rolling. Frame by frame. And there he goes by again. I just realized that needs to move over. What's nice is Yeti has so much fur, I don't have to really worry about the glow being absolutely perfect because it could be going right through his fur, which is cool. So I need to extend this here. What's funny is I knew I'd have to do this when I was shooting this, but I was like, future Nate would have to worry about that. Whoops, that's the end. I don't know. If I were to give anybody advice when they're shooting a movie, if you know your future self is going to hate you for doing something, you should probably look into the future and do your future self a favor. But no, this was the shot I definitely wanted, so I am totally up to the task to do it. I think in the future, if I ever do something with Yeti boots again, I'm going to make sure boots glow on their own. Not digitally. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, we're getting somewhere. Alright. I feel like I'm talking to myself. If anybody's there, I'd love to hear a shout out or something. I see comments, see there's a few people watching. And yeah, what's great is this is only like is it? 1 second clip. So that's awesome. It's nice to see light at the end of the tunnel. Alright, for now, get an idea what this looks like. There we go. Start it there. Have Yeti's boot here. We'll keep that one off for now. And there, looks like we're across it. Yeah, it looks a little sloppy, but I'll fix that. Oh, I'm so zoomed out. So I think next we'll add a little bit of feathering on the edges. There you go, I just feathered the edges of the mask, so it's not as crazy. And I think what's really going to help is Yeti has his boots in the front here, so it kind of covers up, even though the mask can be seen like right there, but I guess I can round it so it looks a little more presentable. Yep, good times. There we go. Much more doable. And that's Yeti's outside boot, inside boot. So it's with his right leg, left leg. Cool. Because Yeti, I think I can get away with some of the other. Let me see. He's going, he's going. Got a twig there we can get away with. This tree, we're going to have to mask. So, oops, wrong button. Paste, drop on top. Going to mask the tree out. Got a lot of motion blur there, so what's really nice is you can get away with a lot. And the original image, let's say the tree's a little bit of a bend there. And now I just animate this mask. Let it jump. Whoop, it's too many. 2, 3, 4. It's going at a pretty steady pace, so I'm just going to move my keyframe to about there. Move it over, rotate it a little. So let's stay. Yep. Grows a little. Oh, come on. There we go. And then there, I'll just stop the frame so it's gone. Cool. And again, if this is what it looks like all by itself, that's the tree trunk moving by. Pretty fun, I guess. Feather it a little bit. There, that'll work. Good enough. Oh, looks like we lose his boots there. You can see right here, he is needed some more animation on this foot. So figure out which is what. That's the tree branch. Okay. Is that the one that's going? It's hard to tell. These are starting to blend together. that's the one. Alright, hide the effect. Go back and animate the rest of this. What if I get away with the motion track, or the tracker there? Probably not. And so yeah, for the guys that are watching, imagine doing this times a whole movie. It's kind of been what has been happening here. For all the effects, this is, you know, usually there's an army of these kind of people doing what I'm doing for like your DC, Marvel movies. If you ever see the credits, there's like so many names, and they're from all over the world, and they're working on the effects. For this film, it's pretty much just me. So, there you have it. Because Yeti can fly, I want to make sure he can blast off at the bottom of his feet. So there should be some kind of like, I don't know, like trails or something going up, you know? And I will also show you guys in the movie, Yeti has the ability to do a superpower, and it's like a cheap trick, but of course it's not so cheap here, at least. I want to give that impression. So at the bottom of his feet, I have to create little glow lines right here so that he can blast off and it be believable. It's going to be, for those of you who are like really big on timelines, like After Effects timelines and Adobe Premiere and stuff like that, a lot of you would argue with me for not naming all this. I usually don't because of time, but what I like to do is I'll add colors to things. So I'll leave my masks the default color, but then I'll do like, oh, this is his left leg and this is his right leg. This is the tree. Maybe I'll label that tree. But now that I'm going to come in and do the bottom of his feet, it's going to start, my timeline's going to start getting crazy. Like this isn't the tree. Do that. This is the tree. So what I'm going to do is apply the saber effect onto this effect, onto the actual footage layer. The reason why I use the footage is because you can do more blending into the actual footage. There might be a better way, but that's just the way I do it. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to draw right on his foot. It just locks right into that. Oh no, don't want to do that. So now we have this, like, his feet are all glowing and stuff like that. It's kind of a because things are happening so fast, I feel like I can get away with it almost like this, but I feel like we need to make the edges seem a little more realistic, like the light would be rolling off. On the edges, like right now it's just the same all the way around, so here it should look like it kind of pinches off under his foot, and over here it should kind of do the same. I don't know if pinch is the right word, but so I can bring the start size down, the front end, and the end size down on the back end. We lose a little bit of a bulk. Let's do the roundness. And then here I can probably, let's see, bring up the core size. Yeah. Again, I think I'm probably putting way too much time into it, so I'm just going to hide it. See if the tracker will do anything. If it does, great. If not, nothing's happening. No, looks like it's... Nope, tracker's not doing nothing. So we'll just not use tracker. Which means I'm going to have to go through and animate this myself. I'm going to do it every... So 1, 2, 3. I'll just do 3 moves. Alright, so it's back to rotoscoping. Fun times. Yep, so I'm just going to go through and I'm going to animate this whole thing. Looks like his foot's just moving slightly, so oh, that's a little high. Stay. Yep. This is how it goes. That's probably getting a little too... Oh good, he's moving. Awesome. Yeah, this gets a little tricky because I want the impression that we can still see the glow, but I think at this point the glow is going to be too much. So what I have to do is animate the glow not to be so dominant around here. Like I'll probably drop the intensity of the glow, so you know it'll give the illusion that he is that his foot is covering it or something. Just copied and pasted another keyframe. I'm just gonna flip it around actually. There, there. So I'm just gonna move my mask there. And exciting times. Cool. So right now you can see his foot is animating with the mask. It's not super perfect, but close enough is good enough. Again, the illusion is going to be, will happen because of all the movement and motion blur. So I think it's all about creating an illusion, which is the fun part of making movies. You're kind of a magician, or just any kind of video in general. And then we run to, let's see here. Just gonna let this jump ahead. So sometimes you can skip a frame. So yeah, that worked. Motion blur saves the day. And then now it gets to fall off the screen, which is awesome because it buys me all this space down here. So we won't see his foot come back for a minute. So I'll just like let it move across the frame. I'll just keep, eventually his foot's going to come back here. He's running. Alright, his foot's about to come back. It looks a little too far. So now he's back. So at this point, he should be blasting off like a rocket. So I'm going to keep adding the effect. And then what I want to do is I want to create some kind of like, I don't know, jets or something that are flying out. So keeps going. Again. Gosh, these are some killer moon boots, right? Might dress up as Yeti for Halloween. Have to borrow this suit from Sheila Page, the actor who's inside this. Who did his own stunts, by the way. He like slammed on the ground right after this jump. God, Sheila's awesome. And that's it. Let's see what it looks like. That's the fun part. Alright, see if it works. Well, maybe. Yeah. So fast. Alright, so now I gotta animate his boot. This is the part where you have to figure out, it's a little trial and error. Could do a little bit with the spread. So this scene is going to be colored to look like nighttime. So I'll go in and animate the whole thing to look like night. Undo that. So in a way, I can probably get away with that bottom part of his foot looking a little underexposed. Or overexposed. Definitely needs a lot of the core. So quick. Yeah, that looks cool. So when it's nighttime, it's just going to look like, I don't know, like a scene out of Tron or something. Cool. What's really fun is let's see. Don't need these in position. Just realized something. This is the pain of doing this. I have all this room to move the frame, so that means right here when I thought his foot dropped off. Yeah, it worked. Yep, I need to fix that. So I'll just looks like I have a few issues because I forgot I had a drop out of frame. Yeah, the ratio of this is anamorphic. So because of that, I neglected the fact that I have some play. If you look at the entire shot, I have areas here where I can reframe the shot. And my goal is to do a digital camera move to enhance the whole Yeti boot in flight moment. So that means I gotta fix my mistakes. That's great. I mean, yeah, that. Yep, I gotta fix that there. This happens all the time. It's just you. So much going on. Alright, it's not terrible. Where's this one? That one. So, get that fixed. It's a quick fix. Easy fix. Gotta make sure this goes away. There we go. Has to go. And it comes back. Ah, it's so close. Wish I saw it. There we go. Cool. Turn that back on. See what it looks like. Yeah, not bad. I just gotta make sure something looks off here. Yeah, that looks bad. Gotta make that look good. This is definitely one of those moments where you have to at least sell the fact that it's moving. Or not moving, but the proportions of the mask and the animation is actually right. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm about to go in the tree. I really am so glad there's a tree there. I think having foreground elements save your butt so many times. That should be down here. There we go. All right. Let's see what this looks like. You can see the mat that shell falls on. It's right at the end. It's funny. That's why we have to mask that out. Man, it's so cool that he did his own stunts for that. Alright. Okay, so now I gotta do this part, and then I will have Yeti Boot blast off. So seeing how that is the same size as that, I'll make that pink. And then now we will duplicate sandstone mask. Oops. Saber effect down. And add it. Oh, you know what? I should borrow it from the effect I already did, since the color is very similar. Yeah. And here we go again. Now, just gonna hide it and animate. Alright. You guys know the drill. Yeah. Do something a little different. I'm not going to do the whole thing frame by frame this time around. I think I can get away with doing it every other frame. Nope. Maybe not. That'll do. I wonder if motion tracker will work now. Let's try it. Nope. Just doesn't like it. God, it's so tricky. I gotta block out the other. There we go. So I have another instant where Yeti's shoes get in the way, crossover, but since I already did that mask, it should be fine. Would you look at that? Let's see what that looks like. I feel like, yeah, that'll work. Right. Make it longer. Alright. So, I don't know what's going on there. Sweet. Tree's gonna save my ass again. I keep doing that. Let's hide this a little bit further down. Okay, there we go. Still okay, still okay, and there it is. I'll copy this keyframe because we almost start to see him come in there. It's the details, guys. And somehow he's bigger. I guess he's getting closer to the camera. And boom. Oops. Just gonna do that. Oh yeah, it's gonna be great. This is about to blast off. This is an instance where I'm going to animate. I'm not going to mask over. I'm just going to do that because it's a lot of work. Boom. Alright. Let's see what it all looks like. Cool. I can live with that. Let's turn everything else on. Moment of truth. Again, like I said, this is a night scene. It'll be graded. The color will be graded to look like night. So the boots lighting up like this is actually kind of cool. Put a little more contrast into the scene, so Yeti will stand out a little better. I'm going to do that last. Like, I'm not doing it now. Just using levels here. I have a temporary. I have a temporary level set just to kind of show, like, give me some idea of contrast. But yeah. Alright, so next, gotta figure out how to make him blast off. Now, this is always fun because I never know how I'm gonna do these things. I just figure it out as I go. Because everything's unique and has its own thing, so has its own way of doing it. Like, I wanted to feel like that this is not the same old effect that used from some other movie or whatever, so I just want to try to make it my own thing, even though it's probably going to look similar to other people's stuff, but I mean, hey, that's where I've seen it, so that's how I've learned. I gotta figure out at what point he blasts. So it's like right there. It's like right behind the tree. So that kind of helps me. So I can show the blast. Going off now. It's off a little right there. I can show a blast right about here. So there's a tool I like to use, or a plugin I like to use. It's like light rays. No, it's not the most amazing. It's a great illusion effect that I think can really enhance. Let's go with this blue. The only problem though is it's affecting the entire. I don't know if I wanted to do that. Oh hell, maybe I do. Why not? Give it like rocket booster look. Alright. So about there. So animate that. I'll combine them right there. Boom. Cool. So this will be here. So imagine the intensity would be like 0, maybe a little. And then by the time we get both feet together, we're like blasting. I know it's a little overexposed, but what do you do? If I were to play it back, let's see. Yeah, it's so quick. Nobody's gonna really notice the effect. But it looks cool. The sound effects will make it just good. But I'm gonna add more, but I want to do the camera move first because I think I might have to animate the camera move along with the blasting effect. So I already have my shutter angle set. Shutter angle is basically, you have to make me define it. I don't know why I just decided to define it. But it's like a degree of, I don't know. For me, like the best way for me to decide it, to say it in this, the effects sense is that when you shoot on a lens and camera, you're recording everything from depth of field to the amount of light to the amount of motion blur. It's all done. It's all calculated a certain way, and in After Effects, it can match that calculation. So whatever motion blur I have digitally will match the motion blur I have in camera. It's the best way I can describe it, but I'm kind of missing some information there. But, I want to give the effect that the camera is tracking with Yeti and he is like, there's like a shaky cam thing happening, right? So earlier on, he's gonna jump, boom, turns on. So it's a one jump, but it's just looping. But his boots will turn on. Boom, boots turn on. You see him turn on here, and then he goes. So I think the camera should start on his boots a little closer. So I'm going to animate it. I'm going to snap zoom out of the boots. See if this works. It's been kind of fun. So I will zoom out, tilt up. So all that hard work. Okay. Let's see. Maybe we stay on it a little bit longer. It doesn't feel like it can be way closer. Shot the movie in pretty high resolution, so I'm able to yeah, maybe I want it to be wide. Why not? I can't go too wide because I have a... So you notice my animation went off because you can't do... Alright, I'll have to fix that. So we're going to snap zoom out of his boots. So I'm going to go all the way in. Why not? There's the boots. So I think we should zoom out before he runs. Tilt down. It's kind of cool. And then as he launches himself, I think we should level out the shot. So I add a keyframe. And zoom in a little bit. I'm going to tilt down, but I'm going to rotate the shot, I think. Try Z rotation. Let's do a slight move. And maybe, yeah. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a small wiggle effect to it to give it a shaky cam look. What's going on here? Alright, I don't know what happened here. Probably. I think from here to here I'll add that effect. Oops. Organic. Yeah, I think that twist, so quick, but that twist really gives it like the feeling. And then what I think is going to happen next is composition settings. Make the clip a little bit longer. And you get to see shale hit the ground right here. Oh boy. So he like slams on the ground. Boom. God, shale, you rock. Alright. So what I want to do is keep the Superman pose right here. And I'm not 100% sure. I've done this a million different ways, and the only way I can really think of how to do it is I am going to do something real quick. This is like the weirdest way. Oops. What am I doing? That was a mistake. Alright. Doing everything together, I'm going to create a... That's right. Oh, that's right. Okay, bear with me, guys. Like I said, I figured this out as I go. I'm going to add a frame hold here. So I just froze Yeti in place. I'm going to do the same here. Same here. Oops. Nope. That. Alright, so I created this freeze frame. Do that real quick. Time. Freeze frame. What I'd like to do is animate Yeti going right off. What is that? Why is that doing that? I have to figure out why it's doing that. So it goes. Oops. Yeah, so like I said, it's always trial and error. Just gotta figure out why this happened. Maybe that's the reason why. Yeah. That's exactly why. Right. See what happens. It's all like I'm just creating shots as I go here, so. Now if I turn on motion blur, do it real time, maybe we have something cool. If it's not cool, I can just undo everything I did. Alright. That's just rendering. So you can see the motion blur with the camera. So we're hiding so much. So the first Transformers did this. Like all the effects were so crazy. It was just like so much motion blur. Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that. Looks like he's freezing. So maybe let him go right off camera. See what that looks like. I can cut before he freezes completely, and then cut to the next shot, which is I'm going to be flying right at camera. And if I add a little bit of wiggle to it, do I have enough? See what happens. So in a way I get rid of having to see his boots blast, but that's not so cool, is it? And we'll just there we go. It's cool, we're getting somewhere. Yeah, the motion blur kind of helps, just a little. Alright, we can bring you back. Do everything I did. Alright, so I'm going to add the boost. 1, 2, 3. Or the blast, I should say. He's pretty much, that's it. Cool. Cool, let's see what it looks like. Yeah, I want this to be like rocket launch or whatever, like blasting. So he's behind that tree. Intensity. Yeah. That go down. Bring it down here. Yeah, the sound effect will really make that like, yeah, that'll make it rock. Cool. I think we have ourselves the boots effect. Like I said, this will be a nighttime shot, and it'll probably play really, really well that way. It'll be all blue and glowing. Oh, you can see my effect right there. So that was the mask I did. It's showing up. It's weird. Well, could probably get away. Yeah, then it just, you gotta start cleaning it, and it just takes forever. There we go, maybe I'll just do that. I'll just put it. Yeah, you can't even really tell. You guys will know, but. Cool. And the next shot that happens, he's gonna fly a camera. So it's pretty much a, let's see, it's a pretty simple effect. So what I did here is I'm going to make boots up here like he's flying a camera with his fists right at us. So I'm going to animate these fists. Probably move you over, move over. So I'm in Photoshop right now. So the idea is he'll like come right at us, and yeah, right into the lens. I'm sure that blue would be pretty cool, like right at us. And then to give the impression of depth, and that this isn't a cutout, I'll be able to animate the hands to look like. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to quickly get rid of this. I'm going to animate the hands to look like they're coming right at us. So it gives it a little more depth. feels a little more three-dimensional. You can run across that issue. Yeah, doing a little cheap Photoshop job here, but the reason why is because we're not going to see. We just got to make sure we don't see the hands behind it, because it won't sell the illusion. So when I put that there and I move this left to right, you don't really, you know, it's not so bad. And it's not going to move that much, but I'll do the same with this one. Ah, I just bought a PC, so I'm still learning how to deal with this thing. Looks like he never had any hands. Go. Boom! I'll get rid of these little extra. Alright. Save that. So for boots, blast to camera, yeah. So I'm gonna probably come back eventually and I'll clean this up. I like to sleep on something. It's just so fast. I think we're gonna get away with it. But I like to sleep on something and before I like commit to what I did. So I'll sleep on this, and then I'll come back and fix it if I have to. And then next, we'll do boots flying at the camera. So I'll call it boots to camera. And there's a composition. Drop it in here. What do we have here? Seed. That's it. There it is. Cool. Alright. Cool. So we're going from this shot, I'm flying past camera to this shot, him coming at us. Pretty straightforward. First, just try classic zoom effect. Oops. See what that looks like. That's not bad. Looks pretty, I don't know, dare I say primitive? What I probably will do is not do it that way. Go back to the good old-fashioned camera move. This is, let's say 35. I'm assuming. And we will zoom in and give it a shaky effect. Whoops, scale. You're out of there. Wrong button. Alright, so camera move will be here to I guess I can use the camera tool, but I just like to do it this way. And I want to make these hands look like they're coming closer to us. Probably a little less. That's there. That's there. My Photoshop job is not that amazing, so let me fix that. Make sure to save. That should update. There we go. Boom! So, gives us a little bit of dimension. You can totally see it. Alright. I really want to go right into his goggles. Center him up. So the ratio is going to be anamorphic, so he's pretty much already there. Alright, cool. And then I'm going to add, let's see what this looks like. That's not much. So this gives a wiggle to the camera, makes it feel a little shaky. Ah, what am I doing? Come on. Everything's lagging. Cool. That works. Alright, let's add that effect. Let's go with I'm going to add my own camera effects just because our movement is ease. So around here, I want it to come up a little bit. Up. There we go. Cool, that works. Maybe it's too high up. Alright, now we'll add this. Just gonna play around with the camera. Alright, and then I think adding a little bit of a rotation. Let's trim it back up to 0. Let's do like a -2. Don't worry, we will not see part of him gets cut off. Now I gotta redo this. All right. Apply the effect. And we'll make sure we add a blur. This will take a second. All right. I feel like it needs to be faster. I know this looks crazy, but all right, let's try that. That'll work. Cool. So now that I have him flying at us, I gotta add some background. I'm gonna go ahead and purchase settings. So I'm gonna add some background. I have found some pretty cool effects on our pre-built effects, visuals, on some various sites. Let's see. So there's a lot of stuff that I can use here. Try to see. Bet you it's not in this. It's probably. Clouds, computer, driving, ultra elements, exploding, fog, moods into light. So I have some ways to like give the illusion that we have light, or we have the streaks going on, and I just gotta pick one. Stock element, center element. There we go. Let's use this one. It's got our like anime looking effect going on. This is Yeti's powers, right? What does it do? It's very slow. Speed things up. It's about right there we lose it, so I can go a little bit faster. Sure, why not? It's like Photoshop. Oops. Did the wrong thing. Oops, I was right the first time. Oops. What am I doing wrong here? Okay. Cool. So what I need to do with this is I gotta fix the background, make this all make sense. Again, I'm working with a anamorphic timeline, so I can get away with losing some stuff on the edge. What we could do is go into burst. Yep. Oops. It's gonna take a minute. That's gonna really take a minute. Oops. Let's bring this down to third. I like that, but I want more. Exploding. This is kind of cool. Oops. Looks a little more promising. Yeah. It's cool. It's so weird, weirdly fluid. So what I need to do is animate. you to go down behind him. Alright. So I think I'm getting somewhere, but I'm going to leave it alone for now and sleep on it and come back to it. But I just want to try one thing. Pre-composed. Throw another camera on it. I think an additional camera, like digital like zoom, would actually help this out a lot. Or go the opposite way. Just throw a shit ton of shake. It's going to take a minute. Yeah. I'm going to do this as a temporary one, because I still need to color correct him in the background. But if I were to put together just like a quick, you don't ever really want to edit After Effects, but just for fun, drop in. Whoops, it's not the right one. And I'll just show the final two together just so we can see what it looks like. And we have a quick, rough idea, scale. Yeah, it needs a little bit of work. It needs a bunch of work actually, but yeah, this part can speed up just a little. Getting somewhere. think right there is where it will cut. I like the fists coming right at him. My camera. I wonder if that should not zoom in. Yeah, the color will work well. Boom. Yeah, it works. It's good for now. It's great for a placeholder for my draft that I'm working on. It's good to kind of get a feel, move on, and then come back. I can just still color correct it, and yeah, the edges around his fur needs a little work. I'll work on that. But yeah. I think it works. Well, that is that. I'm going to call it a live night. I'm still going to do some work, but I've been on this thing for a while now. Want to thank those who joined me. I hope you had fun watching the process. I will post this on Facebook as a more of like a time lapse of the whole process. So it'd be kind of fun to see it come together really quick. And but yeah, if you dig it, like it, sub. If you know anybody who'd be interested in watching this kind of process stuff, let them know. It's nice to have people hanging out while I'm working because you know what, there's a lot to be done. So thanks for checking in. I'll see you guys around.